Hello there, I'm Big Alias, just enjoying the sun, sinking some friggin' beers. How's it going? I want to talk about a video game right now. There is a term that is definitely not overused in England. Plucky. Plucky is a word that we love in the UK. And for anyone who doesn't know what plucky means, it means like the underdog, you know, the guy who not, perfectly equipped, probably didn't assume that they would do well, but they tried their best. They put a lot of spirit and courage, and other words that don't mean anything, into what they're doing, and ultimately the result comes out as good. It's good. It may not be the best, but it's still good. Lando Norris was this until recently. Now he's a friggin' front runner. Let's go, Lando Norris. Nando Loris. Yeah, let's go. So, Journey to the Savage Planet is a game that I would definitely describe as plucky. It's a very plucky game, and it has a lot of spirit, and I like that a lot about this game. I'm going to say straight off the bat, I like this game, and I like the I just overall like the character of the game and the feel of the game. So basically, what this is you're spawned into this into this world that you're kind of stuck on and abandoned in. And you need resources for your ship in order to build your ship up, because that's what that means. And in order to do that, you have to enter into this unknown, forbidden world planet thing with a weapon and a scanner, and you have to find parts dotted around the world. It's a very old school action-adventure game mixed with some FPS. Now, I mean, granted, look at it. It doesn't have the highest graphical fidelity, and the frame rate isn't amazing, and there isn't much variety in terms of things like weapons. But at the same time, look at it. It looks cool, and I want to uncover the various parts and sections of the map, and I enjoy seeing new bits wherever I go in this game, and encountering new enemies as well, and figuring out how to take them out. That is the fun part, and that's why I think they nailed this game. But like I said, it's an old school action adventure game, so the structure is that it's like you are here, you should go over here, and you'll go, well, there is a way, and you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out eventually. Maybe you have to jump on something or activate something or something like that. But eventually you will figure it out. And your job is to obviously figure it out and take on enemies along the way. And the more you play the game, the more of the map you uncover, the bigger the experience becomes, the more things you unlock. So some of the things came completely out of left field with this game, and I really like that, like grinding rails and things like that. And some of the enemies are very varied in terms of combat. Now, I will say that is the first detractor that I would give about this game. The first issue I do have with this game is that it's maybe not as responsive as I would want it to be. I always prefer my games in 60 FPS, and of course this isn't. This has a dodge mechanic thing, from the From Software games that are very popular now. It has one of those dodge mechanics, but when you apply one of those to your game, really it needs to be spot on, and it really isn't there. There's a little bit of input delay. It doesn't feel very smooth, and it doesn't feel as though it happens straight away, and I think that's a little bit of an issue. In terms of the combat, it can be very simple, and I will say it takes some time to figure out how to master the combat, but once you do, these issues become less prevalent, and the combat can be fairly fun. This is very lock-on, heavy combat, and once you figure that out, you can be snapping between enemy and enemy and enemy and enemy, and just snap, and it can become quite fun. And then, of course, when you're done with that encounter, you uncover a new part of the world, and you keep going and going and going, and you get new powers with which to advance through the world, and I think that's really great. In terms of the story, I honestly couldn't tell you what's going on here. I don't really know too much about it, but it doesn't really matter. And I will say, by the way, in order to counteract this, a little bit all over the place, in order to counteract the fairly basic combat, I think they do a good job of counterbalancing what is fairly basic combat with a great upgrade system that feels very tangible, and as though you are really earning your way to becoming stronger. And so that sort of baseline combat becomes exactly that. That very sort of basic combat becomes a baseline that you can then improve on and improve on and improve on. Not with extra skills and things like that, although you can unlock those, but that you can become tougher, you can become more resilient, your weapons can become more powerful, stuff like that. And it feels like a baseline with which you can improve. I love a linear game, I love a single player game, I love a sci-fi game, I love an FPS, and I love a game with great progress. But I don't love a game that doesn't run particularly smoothly. And I understand it's a bit of a double A game, it's not a triple A game, and I do get the sense that the developers definitely want to do more, and I feel as though a Journey to the Savage Planet 2 could be amazing. It could be a really, really good game, and I would love to see what they could do on a AAA budget and creating this big, bold, wondrous world. I would love to see how far they can go with that, with the physics and with the graphics and particles and what have you. It could be really great. And with a Journey to Savage Planet 2, I want more weapon variety and more combat variety. But aside from that, I think it's very good. If you liked that, what was it called? That game that was by the makers of Rick and Morty last year, High on Life. If you like that, I can almost guarantee that you'll like this game. It's very much in a similar thread, like a very colourful, bright, whimsical world where there's crazy, wacky stuff to discover around every corner. If you like that style of game, and I think you're going to like this, and I did like High on Life, and I do like this, so I want to give it a score. So I think that's a fair score, and I think it is a good game. This is on Game Pass currently, and I would definitely recommend giving it a download. And I'll see everyone later.
The PlayStation is only $149, and you can also get leading titles.